5 lights, and away we go. I think everybody got a decent start there.
That's an insane start from Koushik. Exactly what he would have wanted. Oh, RB Ferraro, he just sneaked onto the inside and he has to feed you.
Salvage some points all the way down.
Eccentric sending down the inside on Oxygen, and Oxygen is coming back alongside. Putting his wheels, and he's side by side going around the outside. And I think he's got the move done. Yes, he has got the move. Oh, still there side by side, but he's got the inside line.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another iteration of IRC Tier 1. We are at the infamous Marina Bay street circuit under the lights at Singapore. It's been a few seasons since we experienced the magnificence of Singapore in the F1 game, or more importantly in our league, because we haven't had it in the calendar for a few seasons now. But Singapore is officially back, so I'm glad to be here to witness this event this weekend as we head to round 9 of the championship. Hello, my name is Aitzal. I'll be your commentator for this afternoon, and joining me in the commentary box today is Dan, the SSJ assassin. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. How's it going for everybody? For you, of course, man.
I'm doing good. I haven't been following Tier 2. I think I wasn't there last week, so I was unable to view the race. But I've got a general gist of how the championship has elapsed over the course of the season. It's mostly been the likes of Shawshank, Anish Montero, and Strendi who have been sort of exchanging places at the top of the championship, and that still remains the theme as we head into this round as well. But Shawshank has got a comfortable margin at the top. He can basically not attend this race and still keep his championship lead by a comfortable margin. So he's on 125 points and Anish Montero is on 87. So a lot of work for the other drivers to catch up in this championship battle. But yeah, looking forward to this afternoon of racing. Singapore does always produce some good racing. But before that, I'm having some trouble seeing your stream, Dan. I can't see it.
Oh, just give me a second. Sorry, might be some glitch with Discord. Just give me a second.
No issues. In the meantime, though,
Is it visible now?
get your predictions in. Yes, it is. Thank you very much, Dan. Yes, as you could see, Shawshank at the top of the standings on 125, Anish Montero and Face Crack. Not that, quite far behind actually. Of course, but from 2nd to 7th, it's separated by just about 16 or 17 points. But Shawshank has well and truly pulled away in the championship standing. So yeah, it's going to be a battle of attrition for the rest of these drivers to catch up to Shawshank. The point will be to not let him score as many points as possible in order to close that gap down. So a little bit, there may be some unofficial teamwork happening between the other drivers to kind of limit Shawshank's points haul. But he's been so dominant that you can't really stop him at any point in time. But yeah, let's go ahead and explore a little bit about Singapore and go into the track video. So Singapore, one of the few street circuits that we have on offer on the F1 calendar, although that number is steadily increasing over the years. 3 DRS zones, tight, complicated, important traction zones all over the place. This really is a proper challenge for our drivers. Let's go ahead. Welcome back. We're under lights at Singapore, heading into qualifying in a second. But in the meantime, we have my fellow co-commentator who has joined us a little bit late, but he's definitely here to witness all the carnage. Moto, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing just great. It's still had a long ass drive back from cafe. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Singapore, one of the most technical circuits on the calendar. Like, eat stars for breakfast. Every single this track maze will be an entire traction zone, like collectively, because it's all traction zones, isn't it? Like, I don't think there's a single zone where a corner where traction isn't quite key. So maybe the last corner, but yeah, it's just so critical that you get your setup right, and so critical that you're easy on the rear tires, because yeah, this track certainly eats them for breakfast or dinner, because we do go under the lights here for a very spectacular night race.
Absolutely. And dinner also reminds me that the Tier 1 race is this evening. So if you do want to watch some more racing action underneath the lights at Singapore, do stay tuned for that, because something tells me it's going to be quite a scrap in the Tier 1 race, because a lot of battles happening all throughout the championship standings, a lot of people fighting for positions. You yourself are involved in the championship battle as well, so there'll be a lot of action on track, definitely, for sure. And that's going to be the case in Tier 2 as well, because it is quite tight at the top in terms of points, so the drivers will be getting their elbows out wherever possible. And with Singapore particularly, overtaking is quite difficult. There's probably one or two major overtaking points, after the major DRS zones is really your only chance. So most of that time you're just going to be sitting behind them as close as possible for as long as possible, trying to make that move work. But something tells me we might see some scrappy overtakes in the most unlikeliest of positions. I think might happen at the hairpin as well.
Yep,
that would be quite a sight.
Indeed. Very few overtaking spots. I mean, as we discussed, very narrow. I mean, it's a strange circuit because some parts are actually quite wide, wider than other street circuits, but then some parts are like extremely narrow. So yeah, a very diverse circuit in terms of track width, I guess, but not in terms of corners, because again, mostly traction zones. Can't quite see the telemetry as of yet, but so far from what we can see on screen, it appears to be quite dry. So yeah, I'm pretty sure the drivers will be quite pleased about that, because this track in the wet is just it's painful. It's painful enough already, considering you have to do 31 laps around here, and the race pace is around 45s, I guess, for Tier 2, or 44s, I'm not sure. So that's almost 2 hours of race time if without a safety car. And yeah, I'm pretty sure, I'm not trying to jinx anything, a safety car is quite on the cards for this one. So yeah, a very hectic, a very demanding, physically demanding race for IRL drivers as well, because the track is so bumpy. But even virtually, it's just you're clawing away at your fingers or your hands, whether you're on wheel or controller. It's just it requires 100% focus and commitment, and yeah, not to touch the wall or clip an end plate here or two. So yeah, a very hectic race coming up, and it's this qualifying really gives the drivers a breather, because they don't have to drive consecutively for that long and around this very technical circuit. So moving to qualifying, I'm sure that Shawshank is probably on the cards for pole position again, considering how dominant he's been this season. But we have a few names that may surprise. Different circuit again, very different from the ones we've had so far. Very mechanical, as we mentioned for the 100th time now. So maybe some drivers might be the circuit might be favoring some drivers rather than the others. So you have any names, Itzel, that you think might have a shot at pole rather than Shawshank here?
Maybe not particular names. I think definitely the usual names will be up there. I think Anish Montero and Strendy will really be trying to push the limits. Strendy's been a little weak in qualifying in most races, but he's come back really strong in the actual race itself. He's nailed the strategy on some occasions, and he's managed to reap the benefits of that. So I expect him. I expect Shrey to be up there as well. I think both the Williams boys have been doing very well this season in terms of Shrey has been doing very well in terms of qualifying, but finds himself in some unfortunate positions in the race. So yeah, I think all the usual names will be up there, Shawshank as well, as you mentioned. But yeah, Singapore definitely going to be more than qualifying. I think it's just going to be survival of the fittest, because yeah, as you mentioned, it is a real challenge physically to make it through the race, which just it just kind of makes you wonder how hard it must be in real life. But you don't have to wonder too hard, because with the Indian heat, you'll be able to simulate Singapore heat very well in real life as well. So yeah, you can see who says F1 isn't realistic.
Turn off your AC, lads, for more immersion. I know you can do it.
Yes, AC and fan off. If you have a heater, turn it on. Even if you're living in a hot part of India. As we were briefly into qualifying, but we are sorting out some technical issues in the background. But yeah, when we last
We're back.
checked in on qualifying, yeah, we are back.
Weather is dry. Okay, that bodes well for these drivers. I'm pretty sure. The entire grid is happy to see that. So.
I mean, Singapore has more testing ways of testing your patience. So even though wet weather might not be a factor today, definitely the track itself as well as your fellow drivers on track are going to be very testing on your patience. So we've got the first few drivers out on track while we still get a face full of the weather forecast. So it is all dry as our weather systems indicate. As we have the first few drivers on their hot laps, you have PK19.
You get the lap data and the telemetry, Dan?
And Aston Martin does look good under the lights.
Indeed, it does. Absolutely glistening away under those floodlights there. But yeah, there's a telemetry, and could we go on board and see how the drivers tackle the circuit on a very, very suboptimal track, if I would say so myself, because it hasn't ramped up quite yet. But Strendy finding pace again, 40.4, not quite on the cards. I'd say Shrey goes a 5/10 almost, 3 times faster. With a 40.093. Onto BK, I think he's backed off a bit because the 110 middle split is not that competitive. Ooh. Montero goes with a 39.1. That puts him almost a second clear of Shrey. So yeah, some big gaps, quite common in Singapore, a very technical circuit.
Oh my god.
And there's just an Alpine just stranded there. I think that was Ritesh, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, you can expect the gaps to be more big. More spaced out than normal, because there's just more time to lose and find with the track having 23 very challenging corners. As BK crosses the line with a 41.3, not quite representative. Yes, this is we have another Alpha just stranded on the left there. Might be seeing a repeat of that. Face crack goes provisional pole to 38.9. But more importantly, here's onboard the Ferrari, and let's see how he tackles the circuit. The championship leader, and swinging through turn 1 and 2, want to swoop the car in, make sure you get a good exit out of turn 3, short shifting, but he's not quite pushing, evidently, as I can see there. Dan, could we get the throttle inputs on? That'd be great if you could just see how much these guys are pushing right now. Approaching the straight, the longest straight on the circuit, probably the only probable place to overtake here. Goes purple sector 1, not quite utilizing on the track on the left there, into turn 8. A very mechanical, rotating the car with the brakes and the throttle. Turn 9, tackles all the section very nicely, and so far seems a clean lap. But yeah, I don't think he's pushing that hard at all right now.
Yep, I mean, obviously you want to get warmed up into the session. You don't really want to send it all on the first lap and then, be unable to find more time later on, because you felt like you've given everything already. You should always warm up into the session, get comfortable with the car, get comfortable with the setup. So yeah, definitely won't be Shawshank's final run. He still has 10 minutes left in quali, so you'll be expecting another 2 or 3 laps from him to improve on his time. This lap won't
Red
be
Bull
his
in front,
fastest time,
hopefully that
sure.
gets out of the way.
Yeah, you don't want to be impeding people around here. Actually, people have been doing pretty well with that, actually. They've been getting out of the
Might
way.
have jinxed it.
Might have jinxed it a bit there. Oh, no, he's still going, I think.
Yuki's on the lap as well, I think. Or maybe not, because his ERS is flashing. He's still not gotten out of the way. Oh no!
That might be a
that's curtains.
actually.
That could be a 5-place grid penalty, because the game is very, very stringent about contact and qualifying. It hasn't quite popped up as of yet, so maybe he's just been excused there. But I don't quite know what Duke was doing there. Very unknown about his whereabouts, because there was a car right up his diffuser, and he was not on a push lap by his ERS. We can tell that he's 8% only in, so yeah, he really should have backed out there. And yeah, Shawshank has missed out on his banker, which is ever so crucial on a track like Singapore, because it just evolves ever so quickly. And it's always great when you have a delta which is always in the green in every lap you do. So with the evolution this track has, yeah, Shawshank's going to be missing that out in that, and that's 1 lap less he gets to do now. So not quite the start to qualifying for the Ferrari there, but I'm sure that's not going to put him down at all.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, a few other drivers have lodged in their fastest laps. Arjun Senapati, the closest to have come to the top two right now with a 139.15, very, very close to Anish Monteiro,
Yeah.
and about 2 tenths of face crack, but the rest of the field still have time to find.
Indeed. Rishi, I think one of the new drivers, I think we just saw him set a purple sector 2, but that might quite might be right as I struggle to find my words there. But yeah, he's balancing the car very well on throttle. Not quite utilizing all the track, but still a very clean lap so far. Okay, very good lap because that's a 38.3 from the Merc driver there. 6 tenths clear of P2. That did not look like it was there for P1, but yeah, he just turned the pace up in the third sector, and yeah, it's a stalking lap from the Merc there.
That might almost be edging into tier 1 times, I would say. He's probably about 3 or 4 tenths off a tier 1. Maybe not a pole time, but
A
definitely-
bottom midfield time, yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very fast by tier 2 standards. So a
And
lot of
what's
work
scary
put
is
into-
that the track isn't at its best right now, so maybe he has more time to find.
More importantly, there's more time for other drivers to find as well. We might see Rishi's position maybe jeopardized at the top there as the track is ramping up. Duke crossing the line, 19 seconds off pace. I think that might have been an off lap. That might have been a lap where he's turned down the battery.
He's still doing laps on the softs. It's 3 laps old. I'm not quite sure what the plan is for Duke. Maybe he's getting in some race run practice, or maybe he's not quite sure. Wait, is that me? Is it just me, or is Duke's driver not there in the car?
Look, guy is self-driving.
Oh no,
F1
he's there.
cars.
He's there.
He
He's
is
just
there.
camouflaged in
Yeah,
the
he's
Red
wearing
Bull
a
livery.
black helmet.
I don't worry, lads. The AI hasn't taken over the world just of yet. Duke is still driving in person because, yeah, 3 laps in those softs. Those tires will be screeching, trying for help in the circuit. But yeah, not quite the ideal scenario, setting consecutive laps on one set of tire.
I think he's just waiting for the track to become optimum and just go for 1 or 2 laps at the end rather than, obviously everyone's going to be doing laps at the beginning, but then if there's going to be a lot of track evolution, it's going to be rendered useless anyway. So rather than bolting on 3 sets of tires and setting 3 separate laps, he's just decided to get some practice in and he'll go for a lap or 2 on fresh softs at the end and maybe he'll be up there with the rest of them. So I don't know, a little bit of practice maybe from Duke as Shawshank now is still trying to set that first lap. He's
He's
unable
on purple again, 26.7. That's a beautiful first sector, actually.
to really good time there from the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, that's 6 tenths quicker than P1 sector 1. That's an insane first sector, actually. I don't know how he's done that. If the telemetry is right, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, he's certainly on it. And yeah, that contact has certainly not phased the tier 2 WDC leader right now. So heading into this hairpin, very tricky braking zone because it's so easy to lock up with how less speed you're carrying into the corner and how short the braking zone is. So he tackles that quite nicely into sector 2, sector 3 now. Goes purple in 2, so yeah, very good sector 2 there by him. Into 3 now, the tires, yeah, are kind of crying for help here. Getting a cutback line into the chicane now under the bridge. You want to be as close to the walls as possible. Not quite taking that curb as it might just unsettle the car, and he's not quite pushing all the limits as of yet into this very confusing chicane as well. Gets a snap of oversteer, puts him all the way to the left of the track. They're not quite ideal, but still looks like a decent lap. And yeah, wow, he goes forward with a 37.8. And it had a pretty big mistake in that lap, so he has way more time to find in that lap.
Absolutely.
And
It was looking to
that's
be-
tier 1 top time.
Yep, absolutely. Shawshank really putting up his credentials for future seasons. Coordinators take
Montero's
note.
gone P2 with a 32. Sorry for cutting you off there, but yeah, a surprise lap which we missed out there. So good lap from McLaren.
Yep, still a little bit of time to find though for Montero, but I'm sure as the session goes on, 5 minutes remaining, the track is still not at its optimum, but yeah, that's a that's a beautiful camera angle. Excuse me, going into the hairpin.
Yeah. I mean, the game just looks really nice and under the lights in any night race actually, with all the reflections and And yeah, so we some nice camera angles are on offer for today's race. So do look out for
Oh,
that as Trey just clouts the wall slightly there. Don't blame him. He's just trying to push the limits and he pushed a bit too hard.
he's widening the track limits. That's all he's doing. He's making it
Yeah,
easier for other drivers.
yeah, exactly.
So Stray currently coming past the final corner now. Just a quick flick in, lift off a little bit, turn the car in. The car does the rest. He crosses the line, and it's only P6 for the Aston Martin driver currently. Oh, what was Stray not in the Williams earlier in the season? He was Strendy's
No, I think
teammate.
he was in the Aston only.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh well. Well, regardless, Strendy's in P3 right now. 5/10 off pole time. Montero also roughly about 5/10 off the pole time. Final few minutes of qualifying now, and this will be the final chance for drivers to improve. So anyone on a lap now currently should look to dive into the pits, bolt on a fresh set of softs, and come out for those final few laps, because this is now a critical time, because the track is going to get very, very busy any minute now, because as you mentioned, motor track evolution is a pretty big factor here. As AJ comes across the final corner, quite understeery there, scrubbing the tires a lot, but he does put in a time that's good enough for P8, the highest ranked harsh driver right now, and his teammate Pirate SG in P19 gets a little slap of oversteer. He comes through turn 1, but Uday, that Alpha Tauri came out at the optimum time, or you could say the suboptimum time, depending on whose perspective you look at it from. But yeah, that definitely would have cost him a few tenths there for Uday, who's currently on his final flying. No, I'd say another 1 or 2 laps in this session now. But yeah, still more time for Uday to find the Alfa Romeo driver. Has been struggling a little bit with form this season, but he'll look to bounce back here, because this is definitely one of those races where if you can keep it clean. Big slide there through turn 8 as he come down to the former Singapore sling corner. Now it's just a very generic.
Oh no.
Now it's just a very generic left-hander as he clouts the wall just after that and loses an end plate, and that will surely be the end of this run for him. Will he actually have time to get back to the pits and bolt on
Most
tires?
definitely not.
He'll have to rush it, but I don't think he'll still get a chance. But you can see a lot of the drivers now coming out of the pits. This will be the final run in qualifying, so one last out lap and then maybe a lap or two on full send, and that corner looks really, really nice when you take it perfectly. You have to turn the car and brake and everything, and it comes out of a blind corner, so you're basically not looking at your braking point just before braking, and then you come around the corner and then you drop the anchors and you have to make the corner. So really challenging without ABS. Maybe not so much so when you have ABS on, and assists are going to play a huge part here, because I don't know how much of a benefit TC medium might be here, considering the number of traction zones that we have.
Yeah, I think if you can master TC off, then it might. I mean, it's already way quicker than TC medium, because the game just cuts so much throttle. But especially out of slow speed corners, it does that more often, because you're just smashing away at the throttle. So yeah, TC off, if you know how to use it, will be way more advantageous over here. As we head into the final runs in qualifying, Shawshank is still in the pits. Has he decided to do a Vettel here? Because he most certainly won't have enough time now to get out again and set another lap.
Sorry to interrupt you, Moto, but there is a super chat in the chat from Chandrapa Ashray saying AB DNF button breaking supremacy. Thank you very much for that. That's $2 Singaporean from Ashray. He also sent another super chat just a minute earlier for $1 Singapore dollar. Thank you very much for your generosity, Ashray. Yes, ABD is our very own button breaking dominator that he is. He's currently in P9, so he's done a very good job while mashing away at those buttons. But yeah, you're right. He has left it very late with his Vettel-esque tactics. He'll be crossing the line essentially with 20 seconds remaining, or maybe even less. Even less. So he's left the margins very, very fine.
He wants the entire track evolution to himself, doesn't he?
I think we've seen the benefit of that. I think out in Circuit of the Americas, when we had a wet quali, Aradhya literally crossed the line with 3 seconds remaining and went 3 seconds faster than everyone else. Granted, the track had evolved and it was drying up, so he could do that on the softs. But still, staying out late has its benefits. As Montero getting very friendly with the track limits there.
not quite cutting that corner on the entry there, but yeah, he's got
Ooh.
a very good run, almost extending there. Yeah, he's really pushing right now, using all the track and more. Gets a beautiful slingshot out of the hairpin, beautifully managed there on the traction as well. Now heading to sector 3. Let's see his delta. He's not gone purple, the telemetry width. He's gone yellow, in fact, even though they look like a very clean sector. Shawshank will not have another lap at it. So it's all up to the other drivers to see if they can pip pole position or not. But so far, from the looks of it, Montero does not look like he's got enough in the car or in him to push Shawshank out of pole position there. Trendy's also set a yellow sector 1. So no one quite looking enough to enough to challenge Shawshank into pole position. Montero finishes his lap. Okay, he cuts the deficit by a 10th. He brings it down to a 10th. So very good lap there from him. Strandy is improving after poor first sector 1. So let's go on board and see how much he's going to push now. Rishi goes pole with a 37.8.
Yeah, I was just going to say we could have moved on both the Mercedes driver as he came past the line, but a brilliant lap there from Rishi. Will Strandy be able to displace those at the top? He comes to the final corner. Brilliant run through there. DRS open. And he's unable to improve. He stays fourth. Unfortunate for the Williams driver, but he might find himself in an optimum position at the start as the front runners are trying to squabble with each other. Last few drivers now coming across the line. Shrave just filtering his way through sector 3, coming now underneath the bridge. Oh, you can cut that curb a little bit more than that, my man. Coming through those last few corners. Again, very, very important traction zones, but he's tackled that very well there. Final corner will be very important. Little bit off the optimum line. He comes across the line and he improves to P5. So a good qualifying there. Not optimal, but he finds himself about a second off the top fives.
Existence gets a 5-place grid penalty for collision with PK19 there. Not quite ideal for both the drivers there. But that's a fantastic qualifying session we've seen there. It's quite disheartening, or quite unfortunate rather, that we couldn't go on with the Merc. But it is what it is, and yeah, he's certainly put in a very good lap there to pip Shawshank from pole. But I'm pretty sure Shawshank will be regretting his decision to stay out that much later. The Red Bull of Duke just goes straight on. I think he's just retiring from the session now, and a great qualifying lap from Merc there, and the top 2. Very close gap. It's been a while since we've seen a close gap between the top 2 in qualifying with how dominant the Ferrari has been. So it's good to see, especially around the track like Singapore, where the gaps are just that much higher. We have a gap of just 400ths from P1 and 2.
Yep, absolutely. A little bit of foreshadowing maybe for the F1 weekend that's coming up next weekend. Mercedes on pole, Ferrari in P2 as Rishi takes pole position right at the death. Shawshank will probably regret that decision to come out just that minute too late, I'd say, and it'll come back to bite him later as Rishi snatches pole position away. Shawshank in P2, Montero in P3, unable to dethrone those above him. Strandy in P4, Shrey in P5, Facecrack P6, Arjun Senapati P7, Existence P8, but unfortunately he will serve a 5-place grid penalty, so he will start in 13th. Ritesh in P9, AJ in P10, Heisenberg P11, ABD P12, Monk P13, Sager P14. As we look further down the order, we have Duke, Navneet, Swatcat, Uday, BK, and Pirate SG rounding off the final few positions as we have a full grid going into this night race, and it really does look to be an interesting time. And I think I'm right in saying Rishi, this is his first race, and he's already got pole position. So what a way to introduce yourself.
Indeed, great drive there from the Merc, at least in qualifying, and it's going to be interesting to see how he does in the race, because we do know that Shawshank, even though he's got bundles of qualifying pace from what we've seen this season, his race pace is just on a different tangent altogether in this grid. So he just pulls away in the first stint and pulls away even more in the second one. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Merc is going to combat that, or if he needs to combat that at all. Because it's new waters for us and new waters for him with this grid, so just makes it that more exciting for the top 2 there. We do have a battle for the win on our hands, folks.
Not only that, but also it has been a while since we've seen Singapore on the IRC League Racing calendar. I think it's been nearly 3 seasons since we last saw Singapore. So it might be a new prospect for a lot of these drivers, if not all of them. I think the only drivers that I can think of that have been on this calendar long enough to maybe have driven it back then is maybe Montero. But even then, I don't think Montero was in that season. So yeah, it's definitely a new prospect. I think Montero's definitely been putting in the time recently in practicing Singapore. I think Shawshank would have done as well. So we've got quite a battle on our hands, especially if there's a strategic sort of misalignment. I think if everybody's on different strategies, then there's really going to be an interesting battle up front. It might actually make sense to go on the softs at the beginning because the chances of a safety car are very high here. I'd say 60-70% chance of a safety car coming out in the first 5 or 6 laps when everybody's bunched up together and trying to make those funky moves. But yeah,
Yeah.
as we are heading into the race, a lot to look forward to. Get your predictions in. We can go ahead and drop those in the chat, and we'll maybe have a look at how well you did towards the end. Who do you think is going to win the race today? Rishi on pole, Shawshank in P2 lining up alongside on the front row, and Montero breathing down their necks just behind them. As we head now onto the grid, Moto, I will task you with the race start.
Yep, absolutely. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and lights are out for the Singapore Grand Prix as we have the spectator mode thing just pop up there to ruin it all. But yeah, Rishi gets a great start, 2 tenths ahead of the Ferrari driver. There are a lot of drivers wobbling around in the corners there. Rishi gets a brilliant start, in fact, 4 tenths clear of the Ferrari. But further back down the order, it seems a good getaway for most drivers here. Not a lot of incidents, not a lot of contact here. Yellow flag in sector 1, not quite sure. No front wings have gone missing. So yeah, a very organized start for the Tier 2 boys here. Existence gets a 5-second penalty though for collision with Heisenberg. That's not a good start for Existence, who already had a grid pen and gained 4 positions in the start as well. He had a great start. But now there finds himself without a wing. I stand corrected. There's one driver who's lost some to someone and got heaps amount of damage, and Ferrari in the Merc in the back they're squabbling as well, and ahead we also have a Ferrari in the Merc and a Merc squabbling for position. But yeah, overall a very decent start for most of these drivers. A very organized one, and yeah, few incidents here and there, but yeah, that is just Singapore for you. And yeah, for the biggest losers and gainers, let's have a rundown. Uday with a great start, but now he is driving without a front wing. So yeah, not quite what he'd expect there. Biggest losers, Ritesh Singh again dropping down 7 positions. That race win seems really long ago now, doesn't it, for the Alpine driver, as he's had heaps and heaps of bad luck in the past few races here. But yeah, now we can see Shawshank's supreme race pace and racecraft come into play here, as he's kept the gap only 3 tenths. This is a battle which is going to last the entire race itself. That's what I am assuming.
Shawshank gives off major couple vibes. You know, not from the starting at the back and driving to the front within 1 lap kind of way, but he's just able to really mirror the driver ahead of him and just keep up with them and just annoy them and pester them in his rear view mirrors, just keeping himself there, keeping himself relevant, and just reminding them that, you know what, I'm still there.
Dropping down. Oh, Strendy's dropping down, my bad. Strendy has had a kerfuffle, but here goes Shawshank. He's trying to deploy ZRS. Is he going to break early and try to get a switch back? The Merc covers that off well. Not quite well. Shawshank goes to the send into turn 8. Gets a brilliant send into that corner and gets the move done. Already in lap 2. That's a beautiful move there for the Ferrari driver there. Really picked his battle very cleverly there.
He also placed his car supremely well. He kind of dummied the move initially and then sent it. So really, and most importantly, they left each other a lot of room. There was a lot of respect between the two of them. Great racing and racing at its finest here. But this battle isn't quite over. There's definitely going to be a few more sequels to this battle. I'm sure of it. But important to note that during that opening phase, Anish Montero has lost quite a few positions. He was down to P8 and now up into P7. But it's also crucial to note that he's on the hard tire. So slightly different strategy to these two front runners who have well and truly disappeared into the mist, as they are 3 seconds clear of the rest of the field. Rishi has lost it.
Oh no!
That's no damage for him, but he will lose a few positions there. He'll have to get the car turned around. Why isn't he?
Oh, he has to reset.
Quickly look at another car as Face Crack inherits P2, and
Oh
that's
no, that's Shawshank spun out as well.
But more importantly for
Why?
Shawshank, he's lost his front wing.
Oh no.
No, I know maybe what has happened because of both of them who've just been pushing so aggressively. Have their tire temps risen so much to the point where those rear tires are absolutely cooked? Probably not. But the temperatures are going to be absolutely surging. Singapore is known for that. So, well, what a start to the race. Both our front runners are into the pits.
Oh wow, that is, I've never seen that happen before. Like the two top runners just going hammer and tong at it. One makes a mistake, the other makes a mistake soon after as well, and both have to pit for front wing damage as well. So it's like equalized now. They're just back where they started out, but now I think Shawshank is still ahead of Rishi. But yeah, it's literally the gap has come back down and the safety car is deployed as well. So someone must have DNF'd or. Wait, no one's DNF'd, so I don't know why.
I think it's just the wing damage from...
It's a VSC, my bad. It's a VSC, it's not a safety car. Yeah, it must be because of the debris on track, but yeah, that's just equalized things here for the top runners here, and now we're gonna see them just claw back up the grid now, if they can, on the circuit.
Is that Navneet without a front wing, or is that just the black front wing of the Williams blending
That's
in?
just the black
It
front
is.
one, yeah.
I thought, why would he still be
Oh,
driving
so
around? with
Rishi's
no-
got a 5 seconds. Or drive-through rather, yeah. Oh
No. That's not the way we wanted to introduce yourself to the big stage, Rishi. After getting pole position, his
Come on,
race
Shawshank's gonna get a drive-through as well now from what we see in this race.
Yes, he hasn't, but Shrey has. Shrey has gotten a drive-through for speeding under VSC conditions. Not ideal. As Trendy spins there under VSC conditions. What is happening all over the field right now? But
I think the
Dan,
setup is just way too tailored for qualifying, and it's just too aggressive on the rear. It's just turning way too much than they wanted to, and on heavy fuel loads and on cold tires and harder compound tires, these drivers are just not able to manage how much to brake and how much to turn in there.
Thank you, Dan. I was just going to ask for the tire information. So right now, I would say Montero's in with a pretty good shot of winning this race after the situation has changed slightly. After our two front runners, unfortunately, lost their cars just before this VSC period. But I think we have gone green. So we're back to racing conditions now. But our net P1 is Face Crack, our net P2 is Shrey, but Shrey has got a DT. So I would say net P2 right now, based on strategy, is Montero, because those mediums will go for a bit, but definitely won't outlast the hards, and the softs definitely won't outlast the hards. So I would say Montero has a very, very good chance of capitalizing on the misfortune of those ahead of him, and he should be, because this will be a major changing point, a major swinging point in the championship if he can maximize Shawshank's unluckiness, if you will. And we did mention earlier that Shawshank could literally DNF from this race.
Oh my god, yeah, the moment I saw him go full throttle while his wheel was completely opposite locked, I knew that was going to happen.
And just for some added kicks, he engaged some ERS right after that. But Shrey's got really good pace up front, keeping up with Face Crack, matching him move for move. That's a purple in Sector 1. For purple sector for Heisenberg, who's on fresh softs, by the way. But yeah, Heisenberg also not benefiting from that opening period. I think he definitely dropped a few positions. I think he started in P10 and now he's in P15. So not the greatest start for the Ferrari driver, but he's going through a period where he's getting used to driving on a wheel, and he's on no assists. But so it's going to be a slow path up to the top, but once he gets back up there, he's going to be absolutely rapid, no doubt about that.
Indeed. As we see the gap sort of equalizing here. The top two still within a half second of each other, though Shrey does have a time penalty. Or is that 5 seconds or 3? I'm not quite sure, but... Oh, it's a DT, sorry, my bad. Yeah, he used to serve as DT. So, all in all, it's Arjun who's actually in the battle there. Wow, Shawshank goes fastest on hard tires, I think he's on. Or is he on soft tires? I'm not quite sure, but... Yeah, Shawshank already, I remember the gap was at 12 seconds 3 laps ago, and it's already down to 7.4. So he's just got a huge face advantage.
He must be on the softs. Either that or he's absolutely flying on the mediums. He's just like, chuck these tires, let's burn through them and get up front.
He's on the hards. He's
on
the hards.
Well, damn, there's just a big pace difference then. As Shawshank is flying right now. Not honestly speaking, he hasn't lost a whole lot of time. I mean, if he can make those hards last until another safety car period, he's in with a good chance of getting into the top 5 or the top 4. He's about, I would say about 20 seconds off the lead, so maybe a pit stop would bring him back into it. As
Oh,
that
that's
is
Heisenberg.
Heisenberg, the other
Ah,
Ferrari
yeah.
now losing his car as well. Hasn't picked up any damage, but he's definitely put some wear on those soft tires. Not ideal for Heisenberg there. He was looking to claw back some positions, but he won't be able to do that if those soft tires burn off
Yes, good
prematurely.
comment for his drive through. That puts Arjun in a net, not net P2 or P1, because I mean you can't really quite say who's a net P1 because yeah, chance of safety cars is that much higher, and I'm pretty sure that's what Rishi needs. Is he's just he's not been able to claw back the gap which he had to Duke. In fact, it's increased. I've noticed it was 11 seconds a few laps ago. Now it's 12.7. So yeah,
I think
in
there's a
terms of
bit of a
race pace, the
battle.
Merc does not seem to have much right now.
Indeed, there's a little battle brewing here between BK19, Sager, and Strendy for P7. So Strendy kind of forming a little train here. He's the locomotive in that train, and BK19 is the caboose. Actually, no, Monk might be the caboose because he's not that far behind BK19 himself. A little bit of a DRS train here. They're all trying to jostle for position. But I was going to say that Arjun Senapati on those medium tires is going to be catching up to Face Crack very, very soon. They're both on the same age tires, so it's not going to be too long before both of
Oh,
them are
that's what there who
involved in a
spins out
battle.
again.
Not a good race for the Alpha driver right now. He's lost the car again. But his teammate seems to be doing pretty well up front, so he looked to just get as many points on the board as possible. As Arjun Senapati is breathing down the neck of Face Crack right now. Face Crack needs to just keep a cool head because they are on different strategies. His priority here must be to not ruin his hard tires. If he is going to
Oh my god.
be engaged in a battle, he should just keep a cool head and not fight him too hard because those hard tires, he's in a good position right now to capitalize on the misfortune of those front runners. So if he wants to get a good result here, he has to play
AJ's
this.
dropped back. He spun out.
AJ
AJ
has
spun out.
spun, so Existence makes up a few positions there. And Arjun Senapati, he does have DRS.
Oh no!
That is not the way you do that, sir. I don't know why
Rishi's
he
got
decided.
painters. Hello.
Oh, okay.
Indeed.
he's-
Okay, indeed.
I think that might have been a major faff up from his strategy team. Ferrari strategist, is that you? But,
Invaded Merc, it seems. Yeah, but that's a safety car now.
is it raining? Question. As there is the Mercedes safety car as everyone just trundles around the track now. That is someone has left the session who wasn't even in it. Interesting. But yeah, Arjun Senapati, I don't know what he was trying there. It didn't seem like Face Crack moved under braking. It just seemed like Arjun could not make up his mind on whether to go around the outside or down the inside. And eventually he just ended up running into the back of Face Crack. Major Baku 2018 vibes. Yeah, it was Ricardo and Verstappen in 2018, wasn't it? They both hit each other. So yeah, it kind of seemed like that. They weren't teammates, Arjun
He's
and
lost
Face
his wing
Crack.
though.
Has
He's
he?
lost his entire wing.
Oh yeah, that's probably why we have a safety car right now because we haven't really gotten any retirements. But yeah, let's talk about Rishi's strategies. A minute and 8 seconds behind, and he's on inters. Discuss.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just Ace Scoop. He's driving that car. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it's not been a good day for the Merc driver. I mean, he nailed qualifying for sure, but race-wise, I don't know. He's just not had the best of race starts. And he spun when in that battle, but so did Shawshank, and then he got a drive storm, as you've seen. Ever since then, he's just not been in the right mind there. He's barely managed to break in time. Maybe the safety car has saved him here. But yeah, not a good start for his debut race here. But further up the order there, Montero again being a wily old fox and keeping it ever so clean, finds himself back in P2 in contention for the win, because we do know he's got some very consistent race pace in him, and he barely does get a pen, which a lot of drivers might be getting on this track. So he might benefit from that as well. So From the looks of it, I still think we got a race on our hands, especially with Shawshank needing to claw his way back up the grid. But I'm not quite sure as to who's in the best seat in the house to win, because it's just really all jumbled up right now, and we haven't got enough green flag racing to see who's got the pure pace right now. So it's just been restarting all this time. So these drivers haven't got a chance to like get used to the race view loads yet, and it's just these safety cars are just hampering their momentum.
Absolutely. More importantly, uh, it's offered a chance, as we mentioned earlier, for Montero to claw his way back into this, and it looked for a second like he was in jeopardy after he lost a few positions at the start, but he has recovered very well, and the safety car period now brings him a bit closer to face crack. So, assuming he can get a good safety car restart, Montero will be net P1, and he'll hope that it can stay that way, because he's in a very, very good position to close that championship lead right now with Shawshank in P9. He will still get points, Shawshank, but it won't nearly be enough to prevent Montero from closing that gap unless Montero loses positions later on. I dare not jinx him because I have done that in the past. So we're gonna let him race his race, and we'll just watch on from afar and spectate other drivers while Montero silently runs away with the race win, hopefully.
Yeah, no, certainly no bias in the commentary team, folks. Certainly no bias at all. But yeah, we can see the Alpha Tauris. Love to see that Alpha Tauris, beautiful car, going well at it. P1 and 3, though Existence does have a 5-second time penalty, I think. That collision he did have with Heisenberg the start, which he could have served under the safety car. So I'm not quite sure why he hasn't done that. Maybe it would offset his strategy a bit, but then again, there's just a high chance with another safety car in this race. Again, don't want to jinx it, but it's just the truth. And yeah, so puzzling decision there as to why he didn't mitigate that 5 seconds he did gain after that lap one. But I think as we get the restart ready on board, Rishi I think he's lapped, isn't he? Yeah, he's lapped. I don't think he's going to have a chance to unlap himself from the leaders. Is he in the mid pack? Could we go on board Rishi and see where exactly he is on the track? Is he?
He's coming around the final corner now, I think. So he'll have.
I don't think so. Is that him? I'm not quite sure.
Can we just go on board Rishi if we can, Dan?
Sorry, were you saying something? I just went to grab some water.
Yeah.
Yeah, could we go on board Rishi for a second? Rishi is. Ooh, he's in. He is stuck in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, he's stuck in the mid pack. Yeah.
He is on a minute and 30 seconds down now. That's unfortunate for the Mercedes-Benz driver. As we should get the racing underway again this lap. So face crack net P1 now in a really good position to capitalize on Shawshank and Rishi, who made brilliant start and had a lovely battle, but unfortunately have been unable to keep it going after they both spun, not at the same time, but in very short span of the other spinning. It's resulted in the grid getting shuffled up a bit. So obviously Shawshank is now in P9, Rishi's in P20, quite far back, and he went on the inters, which didn't help his case at all. So safety car in this lap. Now the grid will really start to bunch up.
ABD's dropped back. I don't know what's happened there. He's just lost the position on the safety car.
Interesting. And it hasn't gone green yet. By the way, everyone in chat, that is just the map being a bit funky. We are still under safety car conditions. Only after I would assume after the final corner, just before it, is when we will expect Facecrack and Montero to go. Important to note for Facecrack as well is Existence is just behind Montero, breathing down his neck. So if he can put some pressure on the McLaren driver, then Facecrack should get a pretty... Oh no, I was just talking about it. That has to be the commentator's jinx of the century there, as Facecrack goes not only from P1 to P13.
Must be too cold, yeah.
Yeah, more importantly, he's lost the car at possibly the worst time. A safety car restart is the worst time to lose the car because you lose so many positions. Facecrack has gone from P1 to 17 as Existence goes tries to go down the inside of Montero. Both of them dumping ERS as you would expect because DRS has not been enabled yet. Montero still has the inside line. He'll try to solidify his position. Existence still hanging around the outside as they go side by side down into turn 5 now, and Existence does get the move done finally. So Montero's next chance will come just after the hairpin on the back straight. DRS of course won't be enabled, but if he stays close enough he'll be able to catch up with ERS alone. But a good move there by the AlphaTauri driver. Now we have another AlphaTauri driver in the lead, not quite the one that we would have expected at the safety car restart, but things can change as they have been throughout this race.
Indeed, and yeah, that was a very, very good race start for both the top two there. They've already pulled away, and Existence pulled away at 1.2 seconds now. So he's got bundles of race pace, it seems, as the AlphaTauri driver. So that's great to see there. He's already 1.2 ahead, 1.3 now. Does Montero have damage to his front end plate? It has to be the key. Yeah, he does. He has lime green damage on the left end plate.
How did that come? I don't know. I don't remember him making.
Wait, no, it's refreshed. Is that damage or is that not? I'm not quite sure. I don't think so.
Has he fixed it? Has he got a mechanic hanging off the front of the car fixing his end plate for him? But he has somehow magically fixed the damage, and now he will look to make up that time that he's lost to Existence. You have to keep in mind that Existence does have a 5-second
Oh
penalty.
my god, what?
You're kidding? Oh my god! That was oh my god! There's 4 cars there.
That's another safety car. What has happened in the last corner at Singapore?
Oh my word, there's a Red Bull off to the side somewhere. What the hell did we just see? There was 3 cars involved there. There was an Alpine, I think of SWAT Cat. I'm not quite sure, I could be wrong. There was an Alpine involved, I'll just say that much. And there was another car on the left spun out. So not quite sure what happened there. We missed a big incident it seems like, but Sager is out. Sager is out of the race, and we have another safety car.
That's the third one, or the second one, but 3. We've got a VSC as well. So, yeah, we're only 11 laps in, folks. This is going to be a long one, so do strap in. Because, yeah, we're not done. We haven't even started. And, yeah, Shawshank's already back up to P5. And he's still got way more than, well, I wouldn't say way more than half distance, but, yeah, he's still got more than half distance of the race to go. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there in the last corner, because there was just cars spinning around and there was like lateral contact, and we're gonna have to have a look at the onboard replays after the race and have a look and decide as to who was at fault there, or if anyone was at fault at all. Was it the cold tires? Was it the side by side, or was it just the contact model? Not quite sure what's going on wrong there, but. Yeah, it is a murder in the last corner in Singapore here.
Since this race is going to be quite long, allow me to go and hydrate myself a bit because you'll want to stay here for the rest of the race. So we give us like 20 seconds and we'll be right back. In the meantime, you can enjoy this lovely safety car train. We are definitely preparing for another safety car restart. It's going to be interesting to see how the strategy plays out. So everyone, especially the front runners, still choosing to stick to their hard tires now, but we'll see how long they choose to do so. Montero, Existence, and Strendi and Monk have not yet pitted. I don't think SWAT Cat, I was just about to say SWAT Cat hasn't, and he's dived into the pits there. So the medium tires, how long is the life on the medium tires? Is it 12, 13 laps, I'd say is the maximum?
Maybe, I don't know actually, I'm not quite sure. 13 laps might be cutting it close actually, as Heisenberg gets a drive through for speeding under the safety car.
No.
Probably the last person I expect to make a mistake like that, because he's got a lot of racecraft and he's really clever about his races. So not quite sure what's gone on wrong for him today. He's made a lot of mistakes. Maybe it's the input device. Maybe it's the fact that it's a new input device and it's a behemoth of a circuit as in Singapore. So those two combined together, proving a bit too much of a challenge for the Ferrari there. But yeah, not quite the race you would expect from Heisenberg tonight.
Yep, absolutely. He will come back. He will come back with a vengeance later on in the season or in future seasons. But this season, unfortunately, has not been optimal. I think the new game is taking some time to adjust to
Dude
the
gets
new.
the 5 seconds as well. That's
Oh,
10
Weekend
seconds
gets the
is
5
not
seconds as well. A lot of people getting
yeah.
5-second penalties right now. But the clean and tidy Montero, Strendi, and Monk are keeping it very, very clean up front. All of them are very, very they're not prone to getting a lot of track limits warnings or any penalties of the sort. They're very safe drivers, of course, knowing the commentator's curse that has struck so many drivers this race already. All of them are going to end up with 35 seconds of penalties by the end of it. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they manage this race. And just curious to note that the safety car is taking a lot more curb than the F1 cars. That's for sure. It's sending it over those curbs.
Yeah,
But-
as you know, like the safety car driver has to absolutely send it in the track to space out the field. Otherwise, the F1 cars are just gonna like crash into it because the safety car is like what, a minute? No, not a minute. Maybe even 45, 50 odd seconds slower. I know it's you probably know better because it is a GT3 and that is your area of expertise. So how much slower is the safety car actually compared to an F1 car?
That depends a lot on the tracks, obviously, and the high downforce tracks where you have a lot of traction zones, such as Singapore. The delta is obviously a lot bigger because the F1 cars benefit from a lot of mechanical downforce with the GT3, and specifically the safety car here is more relevant or more appropriate. It's referred to it as a GT4 car because it's roughly of that spec. So, yeah, it's probably about a minute and a half, maybe, or a minute slower than F1 cars. So, you really, Bernd Maylander is absolutely driving the guts out of that Mercedes whenever he goes out on track, whereas the F1 drivers are just complaining about it going too slowly. What they have to keep in mind is it's really hard to keep up with the pace of F1 cars, even at 10-20% of their potential in those GT4 cars, which just speaks to the engineering marvels that are F1 cars themselves. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. As I think this should be the lap that we get underway, so allow me to quickly hydrate myself here.
Yeah, as we had nice bit of knowledge dump there from our very own ACC silver champion. Yeah, so now resuming the safety car. I mean, I don't know why it would be the correct point to get the anchors down and send it out of the last corner, because there's the issue of throttle cut, which a lot of drivers might face. So Existence has to use that to his advantage, as Duke gets a few seconds under safety car. That's certainly a new one I've seen tonight. But yeah, again, not quite sure how Existence is going to play this safety car restart out. Making sure that he gives the drivers behind a bit of that throttle cut and he can just open up that gap to up a second and more, just mitigating the time he's going to lose after pitting because of that 5 seconds he is carrying right now. But Heisenberg has this drive through to serve as well, and he's already in P18. So yeah, it's not looking very good for the Ferrari here under the lights. Meanwhile, the other Ferrari of Shawshank, he's clawed his way back up to P5, although aided by the safety cars, for sure. But yeah, we're going to see some nice overtakes, I think, as safety car is in this lap. It is in this lap, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Existence does. Montero right on his tail. Existence trying to get some heat on his tires in the last second. Breaks early there, then hits it, but yeah, he's not caught off. But Strendy's caught Montero off guard, but he's overtaken him before the line, I think. I'm not sure. But whatever is said and done, Strendy's planned that to a T, and he's got the move done.
If you didn't notice,
Rishi has retired
he's
somewhere.
DNF'd.
Was it on track or was it in the pit lane?
He crashed out.
Oh,
no.
Let's hope that's not another safety car. But yeah, Strendy played that to a T, and he's got a brilliant overtake on Montero done there. He caught him napping. Pirate SJ all over the back of the McLaren.
He's lost a wing plate there. He's lost a bit of his wing there. I was just gonna say, Monk is about to mount a move on Montero.
Oh my god!
No!
What the hell?
What's going on? What are you doing there, lad? What are you doing there, lad? No.
That's an outrageous dive bomb, if I've ever seen one.
Someone tag Banat. That's a no respond, no moment.
No, Pirate, no indeed. But wow, what was that? There's more kerfuffle going on around here in the Singapore sling, and the safety cars out.
Bernd Maylander's like,
Oh my
let me breathe, you bastards.
We're gonna
Just
have to
drive
do
on
some-
track for.
Shawshank's pit. He's 25 seconds off. We missed all this. He's pit for softs. So certainly he had a bad restart there. What? I have no clue what has happened to the Ferrari there. There was just so much going on. But that's AJ who's crashed out. In safety car, he's got no front wing, and he's
Oh no,
gone,
he's
gone. He's lost
completely
his
out.
wing. Yeah, he's lost his tire. Sorry.
I think that's what
Yeah.
may have brought out the safety car initially, because AJ
Well,
was up in P5 when that happened.
It
So
doesn't say
Yeah.
that he's fully DNF though.
yeah, he's
yeah.
still on track, but he's not able to drive. He's
Whoa,
trying to reverse the car. Hello? Oh, there we
And
go.
he's retired now. There we go.
There we go. Now it's just
But-
important to note that turn 5 incident between when the Haas just sent it down the inside, that wasn't Pirate SG, that was his teammate AJ. We briefly went on board with him, and he dived down the inside of his teammate, seeing that he got wing damage, and he proceeded to absolutely destroy one of the McLarens. But you know, they're still P1 and 2. The McLarens are in a very, very good position. So the Haas plan to completely destroy the Woking base team has worked to no
But
end.
they haven't made a stop yet, and Existence has finally chosen to come and serve that 5 seconds he had. But now Strendy's and Facetrack are the best bet to win this race. Maybe Strendy more because he's on 0 lap 4 tires right now, whereas Facetrack is on 3. But I'm sure the safety car is going to mitigate any wear both those drivers are going to have. But still, every percent of wear counts on this circuit because you just eat at the tires so much more. But yeah, I'm not quite sure again what happened with the Ferrari. He's had a bit of an offing. He's pit again for medium tires.
That
He's just
might
got
be a smart decision, actually.
yeah, I think he's just got the soft tires out of the way. Maybe I'm not quite sure why he pit the softs in the first place. But yeah, he's made 2 stops and he's still come on P15, which is rather alarming actually. But yeah, Shawshank will again, as always, want to watch as to if he can come back in this race. But if things go as we've seen, and we keep getting these safety cars, he's not getting the opportunity to push and use his race pace to his advantage and get past all these drivers here, because it's just been a safety car after safety car throughout this entire race. And yeah, they're certainly not bothered the McLarens at all. So those guys are running 1-2 right now. But yeah, this race has been I don't know, a banger if you will, but
It has
terms
been
of
for
racing.
Mailander. It has been for Bern Mailander. He spent the most laps in the lead at this point.
Yeah, Birdlander going for a Grand Slam. There's beautiful switchback from the Aston, but he chooses to remove the Haas from his universe there. He just teleports behind. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what was going on there, and he's
Oh my
giving
God.
his position back. Okay.
I don't know what's going on. This race has been so up and down. Something tells me there's major hints of desync right now, as it just
Yeah.
seemed like there was a spray of water being thrown up. That was just them locking up, going into the pit lane. Oops, my bad.
So you were saying that Rishi made the right call, it seems, huh?
Yeah, the full Pierre Gasly Hockenheim strategy, as brought up by Riss a little earlier on in the stream. Yeah, that was a strategy that he was going. Saw the rain even before the rain saw itself. So yeah, this race has been pretty topsy turvy. I think it's just the fact that one safety car period leads into another safety car period, which leads into another safety car period. It bunches up the pack. We just need to have a safety car restart where everybody just doesn't
on.
want to become Daniel Ricciardo.
ABD is in P3, lads. ABD is in P3.
Oh my God. There has to be some super chats for that, lads. ABD
Come
is
on,
in
we know you
P3.
can do it, lads. We need a super chat for that.
Button breakers.
The
Yeah, great job there from ABD. That just tells you he started what, P10, and he's just been
Further
you
down,
know
brother.
yeah, he's just been all over the place through all the safety car restarts, etc. Just been bonking wheels with everybody, but he's ended up in a really good position. He's up 8 positions from where he started. Monk up 10 positions from where he started. Navneet racing up 11 positions. Both Alpine, one Williams and one Alpine benefiting a lot. But yeah,
Navneet
this
is
is
with 13 seconds apparently though, so I'm
Yeah,
not
you'd
quite
have to-
sure he's in contention for P5 at all. But yeah, McLaren going strong. ABD, a surprise podium could be on the cards, but again, I don't know, because a pit stop is still left for these drivers. As the safety car's finally chosen to come in. Mayland has had enough of pushing that GD3 to its absolute limits there, and yeah, he's had enough of that. So yeah, we might get some green flag racing, hopefully for more than 3 laps now consecutively. Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, some plot lines in covering it. So, what do you think? I think one is Shawshank's charge up the field. That is a given. But again, Singapore, not quite sure you can overtake very easily, as even with the pace advantage, it's just it's so easy to defend because the track is just so narrow in some of these braking zones and corners. So
Just to bring something up, Moto, SD just very interestingly pointed out that there's a safety car limit of 4. So this is the third safety car that we've had. So we technically, the game only has a quota of 1 more safety car before it can't bring out safety cars anymore. So yeah, we've actually maxed out the safety car quota, lads. Well done, achievement unlocked. As we do go green, Montero's gotten a great start. I think Monk just gave him the space. They didn't want to get in the way of his teammate. I think they are looking to work together to get this race win now. But they have to open a fair amount of gap on the medium runners behind them if they're going to. That's one of the
very wayward.
That's Monk.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. What's going on? Oh, the APD. Oh, no. What's happened there, APD?
Oh, no.
Turn the car around.
Oh, no.
There we go.
There
Let's
we
go.
go.
I think
He's still
he had an itch in the back, so he was trying to use the
I think Monk going very slowly threw off ABD a bit there, and Monk sort of moved a bit. And
what's going on for the back there? I think it's a lapped car who's getting caught up in that because he was ghosted. But Strandy, more importantly, or face crack rather, up to P4, and he's in a net P4. That is for sure. And Montero still has a pit stop remaining. So does Ritesh. And yeah, that's a very good.
the waves are gonna send it here. Oh, he tried to send it, looked around the outside, but he couldn't get it done. But he's gotten a really good run out of that corner, right on the back of face crack here. Will he look to send it down the inside? No.
Yellow flags. I think yellow flags stop him.
Yeah, common sense prevails there. I think it would have been better even without the yellow flags to not go for the move there and bring out another safety car. But yeah, racing all over the field right now as Shawshank looks to get a move done. At this point now, the aim for Montero and Ritesh are the only few last remaining hard runners, and of course Monk, but he's quite far back, and is that another retirement? Is there another retirement? Duke has become very, very intimate with the wall. Oh, no, Montero pit, for the love of God. No, he's crossed the pit. Oh, no.
He's lost his front wing as well.
Wait, what? Now the telemetry is blocking out a bit.
Okay, that gave me a scare because, but he's missed his chance to come into the pits, and oh no, that is so unlucky.
Ink saying we need to stop jinxing people. What are we supposed to do, man? We point out guys who've made a lot of positions. You want us to not talk about them? Like, come on. Everybody's up into P3. I mean, he's still got a chance with the safety car to rack in some good points. But I think Montero now has to pit. He has to, I think he is pitting. Oh, that might be Monk, actually. But yeah, he has to pit now. He has to make the most of this safety car period. This surely is the last opportunity for him to make that pit stop without losing too many positions. Do you think he might actually go for the soft tires? It might be a very long shot.
No. Soft tires are not worth it in any scenario. Maybe if you have just 3 laps of racing left or 5 laps, you can. But yeah, with that many laps, the soft tires are just they're gonna die during the safety car itself. You just have no tire left at the restart only. So yeah, medium tires are his best bet, but he's just gonna drop down he's gonna drop so far back down now, pitting this late now, and it's just not been his luckiest of days here for the McLaren. But yeah, soft tires are definitely a no-go. Hopefully he does not go for them. Someone who has gone for them is Pirate, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna be pitting again. For that, and obviously, Pirate, I'm not quite sure if he's going to get any points in this race after that dive bomb we saw from him. But top predictions to win, Strandy is probably in the best seat on the house right now. SWAT-Cat as well, actually. We haven't seen much of the Alpine, but he's on 6-lap old hard tires. His tires will be quite short by the end of it. But still, they'll be as short as the mediums by the end. So SWAT-Cat actually is in the hot seat to win this race right now. Montero does not come in.
Montero has gone for a strategy that even his strategists cannot predict. I don't know what he's betting on one last
No,
safety
stop.
car.
Let's go.
No. I mean, he could make that work if the rules allowed it, but more importantly, I think he's betting on one last safety car. I don't think he knows that there's only a 4-car safety car limit. I think he's expecting another safety car to come in the last 5 or 6 laps, and then he can pit for the softs, and that's it. Montero, you might have to reconsider that, my friend, because that's not going to help you, because there are no more safety cars after this. He's finds himself in a delicate position, and his tires are getting to that point where, you know, they don't really have a delta advantage anymore. I mean, definitely not compared to the 4-lap-old mediums behind him, but
Oh boy, what a... I mean, we haven't even had a proper race, which is sort of underwhelming, but it's just been so chaotic. Every restart, there has to have been an incident. Not even like few laps after it, but just on the restart lap itself. These drivers are just imploding under the lights here as Strenny is looking very, very feisty to get the move done. He knows that those hard tires will be better off by the end of it compared to his mediums, even though he's on 3-lap fresher tires in general, ignoring the compound difference. I'm sure by the end of it, those hard tires will be better off. As he did post the tire life in the chat a short while ago. So I think we have 14 laps for the mediums and 18 for the hards. So all these drivers can make it till the end from the looks of it right now. Or rather, actually, the medium drivers might be cutting it close. The safety cars already coming in because the pack has already been so bunched up with all the safety cars. At least Burn Mayland doesn't have to drive too many consecutive laps here, so that's a good thing. But yeah, lads, we just have pure racing now left for what is that? 10? No, 11 laps. Yeah, 11 laps or so there. So. It's going to be a good one, and let's have a look at how Montero is going to get his race done, because he hasn't made a stop yet, and as we know, the rules say you have to make a stop. You have to change the tires you start on, and he's not done that as of yet, and pretty sure those hard tires will be on his last length right now.
we are reaching to the final safety car restart now. This has to be make or break time, and I don't think Montero's gotten a very good start there. Ritesh has got a beautiful exit out of the final corner. He looked to make the move down the inside. No, just choosing to hold back just for a minute there. He shouldn't wait too long, because the pack is like a bunch of hungry piranhas right now behind him. They're all on fresh mediums or fresh softs, looking to maximize the safety car restart. Ritesh tried to make a move there on Montero, didn't quite work out. A couple of drivers going side by side behind them. Strendy making a move now down the inside of SWAT-Cat. The medium advantage is paying off now. Switches to the outside, goes very, very deep into the braking zone, but still manages to get the move done. Beautiful move there by Strendy.
I've done that off track actually.
He might have.
But Existence looking very feisty there, trying to get the move done on the Alpine of SWAT-Cat around the outside. Can't quite get the move done. He's going to get the switch back, not quite. That causes the pack behind him to bunch up a bit, and the cars going side by side. Oh no!
No, huge crash, massive crash. That's another car out. That's Uday, that's out of the race. But we have another safety car.
Oh,
Montero, please, for the love of God, now. As a fellow McLaren driver from Tier 1, pit, you noob. I don't want to jinx it. Nah, I definitely don't mean that. Montero is a much better driver than I am, but he knows what he's doing with his strategy, and he definitely betted on that last safety car. Now he'll go for the softs maybe, or the mediums would be the safer call there. But what happened there, lads? I wasn't quite paying attention. Just saw 5 cars piled on top of each other.
Yeah, I guess SD, you are proven wrong. The limit is certainly not 4, because Bird Mayland has gone out yet again to get the pack bunched up yet again. I have no clue as to what can be done to get a few laps of green flag racing. Is the race just going to be a bunch of safety cars? Are we just going to see yellow flags all throughout? I'm not quite sure, but Montero has finally heeded his call, and he's made the change of tire. He comes out
look
in
at the number of cars in the pit lane.
Yeah, and the pit lane is filled up right now, so he's not lost out that much as Montero. Comes out in P6. There's a Ferrari.
Oh no, the Ferraris are being held up there. Yep.
Oh, Shawshank's going to a soft tire.
That might be a margin call there. He also goes for a new. Heisenberg goes for a new wing.
Okay, never mind. I was looking at the YouTube stream and just saw the crash again. I thought it happened again. My bad there. But yeah, not quite sure. It was between Existence and Uday, if I do say, if I'm not wrong. Uday has DNF from that, and Existence gets a 5-second crossing the white line in the exit. That's a rookie mistake if I've ever seen one. You cannot do that. Yeah, the white lines are there for a reason, and he's exceeded those. And yeah, that's a 5 seconds for him. Driver who looked well posed to win the race has found himself in T12 and certainly going to drop back more positions up with that 5 seconds he's got as well.
Absolutely. This race really has been a real test for Bernd Maylander, as he's had to repeatedly dive out and dive back into the pit lane, as everyone else has many scuffles throughout the pack. It gets a bit cloudy in 5 minutes, although I don't think that's going to be the biggest problem in the world, because we don't have much racing remaining, or I might be wrong about that. We might have 3 more safety cars, knowing how this lobby's gone so far. Montero finds himself in P6. He's left it a little too late, I think. Unless he really manages to slice his way through the field, that it might only be a P3 or a P4 for him. It might depend a lot also on how his teammate Monk deals with the traffic up ahead. Strandy now on 6-lap old mediums in the lead. Net P1, SWATcat on hard tires in P2. I think SWATcat will try to defend for as long as possible, but ultimately I think the likes of BK19, Monk and Montero, maybe even Duke, will get past them. But it's going to be crucial to see how good of a start Strandy gets on the safety car restart, because he needs to gap himself really quickly. He needs to put some daylight between between himself and SWATcat, because SWATcat is going to be the cork in that bottle. Once people get past SWATcat, they're going to be on to Strandy very soon. So the safety car restart is a very crucial period for the Williams driver if he's going to solidify his race win today. And just look for a second, like Duke was about to lose his car, but he was just
Duke's found himself in P5. He was running dead last, or nearly dead last, if it wasn't for Rishi there. But he's found himself back in P5, very good P5, but he's got a penalty to his name. But yeah, still, it turns out that the safety cars have really benefited the Red Bull driver here, because yeah, he's back in the top half of the field now.
APD has gone from P3 to P last, unfortunately. So a fall from grace for some drivers and a rise to the occasion for the others, as the grid has really shuffled all over the place. Dan, if we could just get that position change graphic up, you'll see just how many reds and greens are there. Nobody's really held their position at all.
PK with a monster race position gain there, 17 from the start.
Yep, absolutely. It's been a fantastic race so far. Well, for Bernd Maylander, as I said. But it's been an interesting race. It's been interesting to see all the strategy calls and what drivers have been doing. Also, it's been fun to see all the crashes, but we don't want to see too many of those. We've seen a fair few today. I think these last few laps, the drivers really have to keep it clean. We don't want to see Bernd Maylander make another cameo in this race. He's already had too much time in the spotlight. But this surely, I think this lap the safety car might come in. Actually, no, we might have another lap under the safety car conditions. ABD is still yet to catch up with the field. That might be a reason why, as the pack is finally taking shape now, as he's just seeing the tail end of the train there.
Yeah.
But get your predictions. I mean, I keep saying that at every safety car restart, expecting it to be clean, but then we have another safety car shortly after that. So, okay, now I think you can get your predictions in as to what the final finishing order might be for that top 3. It's been so volatile throughout this race. We've had so many drivers occupy that top 3 position. At no point did it ever look with max full confidence that they held that position. But it seemed like SWATcat got a brilliant safety car restart, but Streddy's just dropped the anchors halfway through, and he has now departed. He's left a little bit of a gap on the other drivers behind him. SWATcat with a fairly slow safety car restart. Everybody jostling for position at the back. It's Williams, I think, of Navneet Racing making a move on Shrey. Actually, no, that might be Ritesh making a move on Arjun Serapati. And there's a car in the wall. That's a Red Bull of Duke, who's in the wall. He hasn't retired, but he's lost his front wing. It's completely red now, as Montero's made a move already. He's dispatched. I mean, it's not dispatched. The car has dispatched itself, to be honest, as Duke put himself in the wall. Montero's moved up a position now. He will, hopefully there'll be a little bit of team orders there as he's on the fresher tires, so Monk will look to not hold him up too much, but Zach Brown might just say, race it out on track, lads. Shawshank and making good move on the outside of Existence there. Really, really well done. Very, very close to the wall though, so very squeaky bum overtake there for the Ferrari drivers, looking to make up a lot of positions now. He's on those soft tires, 3-lap old soft, pitted on the safety car, and now he will look to maximize that tire advantage that he has. Pirate SG as well might be in a really good position to capitalize on the misfortune of others. He's on soft tires in P6 right now. Up ahead, couple of drivers going side by side here. This is Navneet and Heisenberg, although I think Navneet is disconnected from the session, so Heisenberg will get that move done pretty easily, pretty straightforward there for the Ferrari driver. As up ahead, BK19 putting some pressure now on SWATcat, but Strendi has well and truly left the building. 3 seconds clear now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, beautiful restart from the Williams there. Just what he wanted, 3 seconds in the lead. Even if he gets a penalty, which I hope he doesn't, he's got that covered as well. But meanwhile, Shawshank, I'm not quite sure. Again, he's got the pace right now. 10th behind Ritesh. He's going to get the move done very soon into turn 1 probably. But I'm not quite sure if he can make it till the end of the race on that tire there. But yeah, again, the McLaren's looking good. Oh no! What's happened there?
That was Existence looking to make a move, and it didn't work quite out.
Oh, that's it. That's an overtake on the yellow flags. Ooh, just backs out there, but no, he's got a move done there. Existence without a front wing. I'm not quite sure what happened there again. The driving standards have just not been good, man, today. They've just been all over the place.
Oh, there's 2 cars without wings fighting each other. That was Heisenberg and Existence both going wheel to wheel, both drivers with no wings. That was
I think the safety car limit might be exhausted because, yeah, no more safety car. The safety car hasn't come out yet, even after that huge kerfuffle over there.
Yeah, Burn Mainland is...
The 2 cars going side by side. The 2 more cars going side by side. That's some good racing there, but... yeah, it's just been all over the place, the racing has. That's ABD trying to make a move around the outside. Can he get the switchback line? Not quite.
No, not
Can't quite get the power down quick enough. But yeah, he's on the soft tire and he'll be looking to get the move done very soon.
If we could go on board Montero, I think coming down to these final few laps, it may have given a bit too much spotlight, but he just keeps finding himself in good positions now, right on the diffuser of BK19, who himself is right behind SWATcat, who's on 12-lap whole hearts. Just to keep in mind, Strendi has left the building, 4.5 seconds clear now, and as I mentioned earlier, SWATcat is the cork in this bottle. If they can get past him, there might be an outside chance that Montero and BK19 get a chance to overtake or catch up to Strendi at least. And
oh no!
Shawshank loses the car again. Those soft tires must really be crying for mercy at this point.
Yeah, must be overheating rather, yeah.
BK19 needs to dispatch of SWATcat soon if he wants to catch up to Strendi, who's steadily opening a gap of a few tenths every single sector now. He's 5.3 clear. He's just going out of frame as they come through turn 3. Not ideal then for these 2 drivers behind him. They have to stop squabbling with each other and dispatch off the Williams driver ahead, the Alpine driver ahead, if they are to get that final, if they're trying to catch up to Strendi, although at this rate, Strendi is pulling away at a massive amount. It might just, this might just be a battle for those final few podium places. Behind them, the field seems to have spaced out a bit. Existence diving into the pit lane because of that wing damage. So yeah, not ideal for him. I think has Heisenberg pitted for a new wing? I think he may have just chosen to stay out as Existence gets a 5-second penalty for crossing the pit lane exit.
Again.
That's not a good race today for the AlphaTauri driver, as these 3 drivers are still locked in a stalemate. Interesting to note that, this yellow flag, someone has lost their car. Who's dropping down the order? It's ABD. Oh no, unfortunate for the Mercedes driver. But just noting that, there's not much of a delta difference between the mediums and the hards right now, especially considering Montero's on fresh mediums. He's not able to get past BK19 and SWATcat.
But that just goes to show how hard it is to overtake in the circuit. And he is he's the 3rd car in the DRS train. So yeah, that just compounds to his misery there because he's not quite able to get the run. Speaking of which, he's got a brilliant run out of the last corner, exploding his ERS. Is he going to get this move done now? No, chooses to hang back a lap more.
I think
But,
I don't think it's a case of hanging back. I think BK19 had DRS from SWATCAT as well, so he just couldn't get the move done.
He's
Yeah.
making the same mistake he did last weekend as well when he was hanging back way too much. Like,
oh, but he's
wasting
got beautiful run now, and now he's exposing all his ERS and more. But so is BK. They're going side by side in this last corner. Montero again stops using ZRS and hangs back again.
I think the key here, the problem is, there's another yellow flag somewhere as drivers are diving into the pit lane at the back of the grid. I think that's APD, Heisenberg, and Shawshank, both Ferraris in the pit lane. Not a good weekend for them. But, Shawshank compounds his misery even more by picking up a 5-second penalty. Not ideal for the championship leader, but he does have a comfortable margin at the front, so he won't lose too much sleep over this result. How will Montero approach this situation now? Because SWATCAT is just not fast enough, and as a result, BK19 is picking up DRS absolutely everywhere. He has to go side by side with him in a few of these corners, and he has to open up a gap to SWATCAT ahead. There's no way Montero's going to get the move done otherwise. But SWATCAT, what a brilliant drive for the Alpine driver. He's just managed to stay clear of all the chaos while drivers behind him are squabbling. As you can see, and Montero gets a beautiful run going through Sector 3 under the bridge, makes the move, and now he's going to be on the charge. 5 laps left, or rather 4 laps left, and he's going to be on maximum attack now. He's got 57% ERS remaining, so he's got the tools available to him. All he needs to do now is mount a charge. BK19 now has lost a bit of time behind him. 1.5 seconds already has opened up to Montero, and Montero now will look to catch up to Strendy. Oh, that's a massive gap though. 9.6 seconds. The Williams driver has well and truly, for lack of a better word, he has disappeared into the distance. As Montero looks to get a move done, he goes around that little kink.
Oh, that's the aggression I like to see. There we go, lad. That's the move done for the McLaren, and he's finally chosen to use the ERS to his advantage there, and he's gotten move done. And well, maybe chasing down the Williams might be a far reach, but yeah, at least he's got P2 in the bag.
Yep, a good podium position finish for Montero as everyone's getting too close for comfort. In the back there, that's Face Crack jostling for space with Shrey and Ritesh just down the road as well. Monk slightly behind. Monk might look to get to some positions here if these two guys get into an incident. Few more points on the board for McLaren in the Constructors' Championship. But a good race from Strendy. He's just managed to steer clear of all the chaos, to steer clear of all the destruction that's happened ahead, and he's kept a cool head. And that's SWATCAT. Oh no, that's SWATCAT picking up a 3-second time penalty. No. He might lose that hard-earned third place to BK19 right at the death. Not a great place to be. That's really unfortunate for the Alpine driver.
Yeah, absolutely, and not quite what he was looking for, but further back down the order. Shrey's soft tires are going off, and evidently the AlphaTauri of Face Crack is just that much closer to the rear of the Aston there, and all of the back of him, and so that allows Monk to get past as well. But Face Crack has got a beautiful exit at the last chicane there and gets a move done before the next lap. So that's very well played there for the AlphaTauri.
Someone pointed out in the chat, and I can't believe we didn't.
Oh, Shrey's without front wing. No wonder.
Shrey has not got a front wing, but talking about front wings, I think BK19 has picked up some damage somewhere as well, because he's losing time, steadily hemorrhaging time to SWATCAT. So thank you very much to the observant viewer that's pointed out that indeed BK19 has front wing damage. So
SWATCAT might keep his podium, but BK still sort of gaining time on SWATCAT, even with the damage cover, which is pretty insane. As Hibidi picks up the first lap there, but I'm pretty sure Shawshank is only at that back, because he made a pit stop for fresh softs as well. And yeah.
Buck might also make up a few positions because of penalties ahead of him. Face Crack and Shrey both on 3-second time penalties, but he's looking to get the move done on track anyway. Does not want to get the position on with penalties, etc. But Shrey making it very hard for him, covering off all the lines, putting his car in the right place. And
without a front wing, nonetheless.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's doing very well for someone with no front wing. Yeah, he's doing really well for someone with no front wing, actually. Really good job there from the Aston Martin driver. I think he's
just goes to show how easy it is to defend on the circuit.
Yeah, you just park the car at the apex and hope for the best. And
Yep.
dump from some ERS. I think Monk is not helping his case by not stockpiling some of that ERS, and unfortunately he's just finding himself close but no cigar.
He's waiting so much time through all these corners. Hopefully, he's going to get the move done into the DRS zone, or maybe over here. No, not quite.
Oh, no.
Misjudges how much turn in the Aston has in front. Yeah, maybe into turn one, he's going to get the move done. But Shrey seems to have way more straight line.
Well, no, he has no wings, so
Oh, yeah.
he's running 0 downforce right now. Of course, he's got a lot of top speed. And unfortunately, Monk is getting really close, but unable to get past in the crucial sections. As, Shawshank does pick up the fastest lap there.
On the
No
medium
surprises
tire.
there. Ooh, that's a good move there. But will he have DRS? Yes, he was slightly behind in the DRS detection zone. Shrey won't get DRS, but Shrey might be just as fast without the DRS. Look at him go. He's like a
Yeah, he's
missile
so
down the
close
straight.
as well.
Yeah, but now he loses a bit of time without any front wing there. Unfortunate for
Montero's
him.
closed like 2 seconds in the last 2 laps. It's a pity that he doesn't have more laps to his available to his disposal there to eke away that gap. But
Yeah, if only we didn't have so many safety car periods. Yes,
Yeah.
food for thought.
Should turn the safety car off for this one.
Hey, coordinators, take note. Tier 1 race, no safety cars. Just send it. If someone loses it, their loss. Regardless, SWAT-Cat has pulled 3 and a bit seconds on BK19 now, so he should keep that third place finish, and only rightly so. He's done a very good job of consolidating his finish here today. He's run a good race, and he's kept the pace up. He's chosen the right strategy at all opportunities, and he'll hopefully keep his P3 till the end of the race. Still racing action all over the field, as this is Ritesh trying to make a move. Facecrack trying to make a move on Ritesh, on the Alpine driver. Quite close
Montero's
now.
dropped back.
So Montero's made a
Montero's pit
mistake.
again. He's
No,
lost his wing, maybe. Yeah, he's lost his wing.
No,
Oh,
Montero. What's happened there, my friend? And the McLaren has dropped back now to behind his teammate. And I think it'll be P7 and P8 for the McLarens now after what looked. It actually gets even worse for Montero. He's dropped even further back. But he might get a few positions because of penalties ahead. But now Strendy, SWAT-Cat, and BK19 are on the podium.
BK's back on the podium, lads.
Yes,
He's back.
he is back on the podium. Will Pirate SG be able to do something though? Will he be able to change that? He's only a second and a half off. If he can mount a really, really good, few 1 or 2 laps, he might be able to catch up, especially considering BK19's got wing damage as well. So Pirate SG's got a mission on his hands. Will he be able to get that overtake done? A 4th place finish is still very good for the Haas driver. But he looked to get that P1, although he's losing a lot of time. He's lost nearly 4 tenths in the past few corners. As onboard Facecrack currently fighting, Ritesh still involved in the battle, but ultimately it will be to no avail because he has got a 3-second time penalty anyway. So even if he were to overtake Ritesh, it would be to no avail. But he is opening a gap on Monk behind him through the advantage of DRS. So that's a good advantage for him at least.
A little bit of info for you guys. Ritesh is driving without a right end play,
No.
Oh, nice.
and he's been defending Facecrack off the last 3 laps under
Not
these
bad.
conditions.
He's keeping up the Haas in front though. And the Haas in front is on like dead soft tires, if I'm not wrong. Probably near puncture territory. Would we go on board the Haas and see? Okay, let's. Oh wow.
Those tires are almost as red as the red wall side walls themselves. And yeah, you can really see that. Oh, but he's caught up a lot. He's right on the back of BK19. This is the last lap of racing. So if he gets a move done, that's Montero diving the inside of Shrey to make it P7 and P8. But Pirate SG on those absolutely ruined soft tires is still doing a decent job of keeping up with BK19.
Ritesh is caught up.
Absolutely. So
It's the
maybe
last
he'll
lap.
It is the last lap, and BK19 is suffering from chronic wing damage-itis. So if he makes a mistake, if he loses that second part of the wing as well, it's going to be a massive, massive disadvantage for him. He's opened up 1.5 seconds, and you can see the amount of chronic understeer that he's having to fight through those left-handed and
Oh,
right-handed.
Facecrack's way to move on Ritesh.
Oh, Face Crack has made a move.
Oh,
on
they're
the...
going side by side through the sling.
Ooh.
Oh, but Face Track goes way too
God,
deep.
he's-
Oh no, he's hit the wall. He's hit the wall and he's retired. Oh no.
Safety car. Not this lane. Oh, he's almost hit the car there, but he's made another position up. Shreddy crosses the line. There's a middle. Oh, no, there's a middle finger wag. No, there's an index finger wag there from the Williams driver. It's a win for Williams. Up the Williams lads there.
25 seconds. Jesus.
Yep, that is a dominant victory. I think Dan won some 25. Oh my God, the
that's a
Ferrari there.
Ferrari. He's at Heisenberg. Yep, it's Heisenberg.
But yeah, Dan won by some margin like this last year in the Tier 2 race at Spa, 20 seconds. So a dominant drive there.
40 seconds on track. Jesus.
Yeah, it was crazy, absolutely crazy. Ultimately, though, Pirate SG has to settle for P4 and Montero has to settle for P7, but gets the fastest lap on the last lap unless someone has something to say about it. Last few drivers coming across the line. That is Navneet and Shrey. Will Existence or ABD be able to get the fastest lap? I don't think so, as ABD runs quite wide at the final corner. And Existence gets a 5-second time penalty right at the end. How? But yeah, wow. What a hectic race that was. Nearly and a half hours. We've been here since 2:30, ever since qualifying started. And yeah, it has been quite an end to this race. Yeah, what a finale to that race. We had a hectic final few laps and an interesting statistic there from SD in the chat as we look through the final grid order. Safety car had 15 laps, racing laps 16.
Wow.
That was how close it was. But your final finishing order, Strendy finishes the race in P1.
Oh my
Look at
God,
the
Heisenberg.
Look at that tire strategy. Hard, medium, hard, soft.
Oh, you gotta
soft
love that
there.
one though. Medium hard enters hard. Damn.
And then retirement. Unfortunately for Rishi, it did seem so good for the Mercedes driver today, but unfortunately not able to capitalize on that good starting position. But it does really show that you can start anywhere at Singapore and you can have a good race, as evident by Pirate SG, who I believe started outside the top 10 and has ended P4. So, oh my God, PK90 started from last place and finishes P3, but your P1 today is Trendy. Good race from the Williams driver, SWAT Cat, PK19 and Pirate SG with brilliant comebacks from P17, 20 and 19 respectively to occupy those P2, 3 and 4. Ritesh in P5 with a good race as well. Monk in P6. Montero, unfortunate towards the end to pick up wing damage. He should have just stayed out on track like BK19 did, to be honest, but he finishes P7 behind his teammate. Shawshank in P8, who started P2, unfortunate for the Ferrari driver. Shrey in P9, Navaneet, Iron Racing in P10, ABD in P11, Existence in P12, Face Crack P13, Heisenberg was the last finishing driver.
8 stops. What? How is that even possible?
Top strategy I've seen. One for the history books there, as Duke, Arjun Sinapati, Uday, AJ and Rishi did not finish the race. One more driver as well. Sager did not finish the race either, so unfortunate for them. But your podium finishers today are Strendy, PK19 and SWATCat, as we look to get them into the box here for the podium interviews. What a race it has been. Did you predict that Strendy would win? Did you win? Did you predict that SWATCat would get P2? Did you predict that PK19 would be on the podium? I don't think anybody made any predictions, but I don't think they could have, because it was so hectic. The order was just moving all the time and we had so many safety car restarts that it was so volatile. But yeah, that was a great race. Let's look to get some of these boys into the commentary box. So let me try to see if I can drag a few of them. Oh, I've tagged Streeter instead of Strendy. Oops, that's bad. And BK19. But yeah, what are your thoughts after a hectic race? Nearly 2 hours of our afternoon, but time well spent, I think.
I mean, I don't know. I'm in two minds. I mean, Singapore is a beautiful track. Qualifying was great. I'd say better than the race, definitely. The racing standards were probably at a low here. I'm not quite sure what they were doing out there, just bumping into each other. But yeah, I mean, on a track like Singapore, again, I can't quite blame them. Not all of them are on clear inputs. Not all of them are can keep it out of the wall there, and yeah, it's just it's maybe that this track disposed a bit too much for some drivers out there, but still some of the incidents were just bizarre. Like I was just sending it from nowhere, especially with one of the horses there, if I do remember. Just had no right to send it in there, and he still did. But yeah, not only taking out his teammate, but also the car in front, which was even more hilarious. But yeah, it's just that I mean, Singapore is a great track. It's a lovely track. I'll always stand by that. But maybe for racing, on at least the game, it's not quite the best one. And maybe a change could be on the cards, but I don't know. I still think it should be on the league racing calendar because it's just a testament for all the drivers out there.
We have Strandy in the commentary box. I'll try to get the other two drivers in here as well. I accidentally tagged Swagger Turbo instead of SWATcat, and he says he'll do the podium interview on behalf of SWATcat.
I mean,
won't
tell
be
him
required.
he has to finish for that.
He didn't race today at all.
Oh,
So yeah, Strandy, you're in the commentary box. So we'll talk to you in the meantime while we get the other two lads in. Congrats on the race win. You've closed the gap up a bit to Shawshank. Yes, sorry, I was struggling to find his name there. Yeah, I've closed the gap a bit to Shawshank in the driver's standings. Congratulations. How was that race for you?
race was pretty nice. Even though like face crack, we had an incident in the second lap or third lap. Like I tried to in the first corner, he made me spin. But apart from that, amazing race. Did a one stopper, and it paid off. So in the last safety car, I believe, there was SWATcat behind me, and I was in P1. I had mediums, he had hards, but he had some front wing damage that allowed me to get like 25 seconds on it by the end. Great race.
Yep, absolutely. I think I think your race was just a testament to just keeping it clean, not getting penalties, not jumping in battles and sticking your nose in everywhere. I think it's just playing the patient long game. I think that paid off for you in the end, and a good race victory for you as well.
Yes, thank you. No, I wasn't really trying to keep it like clean or anything. I was still fighting, but just I was just lucky not to get in any incidents. Even though I got in one, I recovered. So apart from that, a pretty good race.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on your P1. You've a great race from you, and good luck in the rest of the championship. We'll move to SWATcat in P2. Congratulations, man. Started in, I think, P17 and got a podium finish. So must have been a hectic race from you, charging through the grid.
Yeah. Hi. Am I audible?
Yep, you're audible.
Yeah. One of the races where I thought I kept clean all the way. I don't know. There is a one overtake with Montero. I don't know if I have viewed a bit to the left. I have to see again. But all over, I mean, I'm very cautious with respect to braking and all. So I think it paid today. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man. Well done. Talk us through your strategy. Did you go for any weird strategies? Did the safety cars help you out, or was it just a case of?
So even at the lap 12, my medium tires were about 18% or so. So I could able to extend, but I thought, and again one more safety car came. Then I changed it to hard. And then the restarts at the race, it's very, very difficult with the hard tire. I had to lose a couple of times, but Stendir and others are having high pace than me. So I thought I have kept them behind properly.
Yeah, absolutely. You did a very good job towards the end there to keep those drivers behind on the hard tires, and you got lucky with Montero having his little incident where you have gotten P2 in the end. So congratulations, Vodka, a great drive from you.
Thank you.
Then we move to P3 and we talk to possibly driver of the day because you started right at the back of the grid. BK19 is your P3 finisher today. Final podium plays. BK19, talk to us. How was that race? Hello? BK, are you available? If you are talking, we can't hear you right now. You are on mute.
Am I audible now?
Yes. Hello, BK. Yeah, talk to us about the race.
Yeah, it's all messed up. I don't know what's going on. I mean, too many safety car and no strategy for sure because I was starting at the last. I started with the hard tire. Plan was just to stick on the road and not get involved in too many incidents. That's the plan basically. but still can't help with this Singapore track. I mean, I did involve it in one of the incident, and I had to pit. Then no, there is no such a strategy. I was just then after looking forward to just stick on the track and not get out. I was already running on a 2 warning, so at the end I was just thinking about that I might not get the third one and I get a 3-second penalty and then I get demoted to out of the podium. That's what's going on at the last. Yeah, that's
Yep.
a bit hectic.
Yeah, and I think you had wing damage towards the end
Yeah,
there as
yeah.
well, so that didn't help you out massively in trying to catch those ahead. You definitely had the pace though.
Yeah. I had after the restart. I mean, within the first lap, I think I had a damage, left front wing damage, and I couldn't catch up to the. Even though I think that's a pirate guy ahead of me, and he was on a hard. I thought I will catch him, but then I got a wing damage, and that's just a survival stage for me to stick to the third place. That's it. I mean, I messed up in the quali, then at the end I demoted to last place because I don't know, someone parked a car on the lane and I just went into him, and then I demoted to last place. Then just started with the hearts, and yeah, lots of safety car, all messed up.
Yep, absolutely. A great race in the end from you. I think you get driver of the day from us because that was a brilliant drive from last place to P3. Great recovery drive from you. But yeah, thank you all to the podium finishers. Congratulations on your respective podium places. And with that, we will look to round off the stream. I think we have drawn out this podium interview a little too much, and the race itself had drawn on for quite a long time because of all those safety cars. And I think SD pointed out earlier in the chat that we had 16 laps of racing with the safety car. Under normal racing conditions, we had only 16 laps of racing and 15 laps were under safety car. So pretty crazy Tier 2 Singapore race. Really an entertaining prospect, but some people might be in two minds about it. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Do support all our socials. They're on your screen right now. Do make sure to hop on to the Discord if you want to get involved with all the racing action. We still have one more stream coming up for you this weekend. We have the Tier 1 race at Singapore. It's going to be an absolute firecracker later on tonight. It starts at 8 p.m. Be sure to tune into that as well. But thank you very much for watching. This is IRC, myself, Moto, and Dan signing off for this afternoon. Take care, and we'll